Lately I've become hooked on watching videos online. One day I was captivated by a clip someone shared. A breathtaking shot of an endless, sapphire ocean. In that moment I recalled how my husband once promised to whisk me away on a grand tour of the world, to show me all its wonders. Yet when I look back on most of my life, the only places I've really been are the grocery store, his workplace, and our child's school. So when I suggested we travel together again, he just laughed, saying that at 60 I was still chasing impossible dreams. And with that, I decided it was finally time to live for myself. "Mary, why isn't dinner ready yet?" John Howard, my husband of nearly 40 years, stormed through the door, grumbling about his hunger. Seeing me sprawled on the couch, absorbed in my phone, he snapped, "Always messing around on that thing instead of doing what you're supposed to." I glanced at the clock. It was already well past 12. After all these years of tending to him with care, John had grown accustomed to meals being served at precise times. If dinner was even a minute late, his temper would flare. I slowly pushed myself up. "I had some chest pain this morning, so I lay down for a while and lost track of time," I explained. Rather than showing any concern for my discomfort, he glowered at me even harder. "You're just making excuses, playing on your phone and forgetting to cook. Sooner or later I'm going to break that damn phone." All right, I'll get cooking. Just sit tight and wait." I took a small sigh and put my phone away. John's fiery temper had always been a given, so I never argued back. Avoiding any escalation was simply not worth the trouble. Fortunately, my sweet granddaughter Lucy had visited me yesterday and brought over a generous supply of ready-made pickles. That meant I could put together a quick meal. A few slices of fried bread and a bowl of spaghetti smothered in meat sauce. Just in time, before John's anger could boil over, I set the lunch before him as he sat impatiently at the table. He sneered, "Honestly, with your whole life spent on these mundane chores, you still can't get it right. This spaghetti is ridiculously salty." I'd grown used to his endless nitpicking. Every time I finished a meal, he would find fault with it. After pouring my heart into cooking, his relentless criticism left me with no appetite at all. Coupled with my earlier discomfort, I couldn't bring myself to eat a single bite. Instead, I picked up my phone and, as usual, opened the video app I'd been hooked on lately. Lately, all I kept seeing were clips of young people off traveling, their adventures igniting in me a fierce longing to explore the world. I married young. My parents, aside from me, had a younger son, and they were never exactly the most attentive parents to me. From childhood, they'd always favored my little brother, leaving me with scant affection. At that time, John's parents were our neighbors, living just next door to my family. My union with John wasn't a love match at all, but rather a prearranged decision between families who assured each other that nothing could go wrong. They had sealed my fate long before I even had a say, eagerly pushing me into marriage. After we wed, I devoted myself to caring for John's ailing mother for 20 long years. I raised my own children single-handedly, never once hiring a nanny or caregiver to save money. And once I'd finally managed to see my children grow up and leave home, I found myself also looking after my granddaughter, like Lucy. Now 40 years on, with my children grown and gone, it's just John and me. Looking back on my life, the only places I ever ventured were the local market, John's workplace, and my children's schools. As I scrolled through the travel videos, memories of my youth flooded back. Back then, when we were newly married, John had been genuinely kind and considerate. Watching me toil day in and day out at home, he'd promised, "When we finally have some free time, I'll take you out to see the world. We'll travel everywhere together." But for decades it seemed we never found the time. The farthest we ever ventured was a vacation resort about 200 miles away, a trip organized by our son. But now there was time. I studied John as he sipped his beer and nibbled on the pickles Lucy had thoughtfully brought. He looked content in a way. "John, how about the two of us head over to California and see the ocean?" I ventured. The vast, mesmerizing ocean in those videos looked breathtaking. He snorted dismissively and set his beer down. "The ocean? What's so special about it?" I murmured, "But you promised back when you were young. You said you'd take me out traveling when we had a break." "What did you say?" he replied, either feigning poor hearing or simply ignoring my plea as he often did. Normally, I'd just let such mutterings fade away. But today, perhaps spurred on by the allure of the sea or an overwhelming urge to break free from the confines of home, I found a surge of courage bubbling up inside me. I said, "You promised me that when we had time, you'd take me traveling." John only scoffed. Look at you at your age still clinging to those far-fetched promises from your youth. With that he tossed his beer bottle aside, stood up and strode back into the house. Make sure that shirt is hand-washed and ironed properly. I need to wear it tomorrow, he called over his shoulder. I sighed, gathering the scattered dishes from the table, and then tossed the shirt he'd mentioned into the new automatic washing machine. Lucy's thoughtful gift. She'd insisted I stop hand-washing my clothes, claiming no one would notice anyway. And truth be told, John had never noticed a thing. When a thought takes root in him, it's like a feather lightly tickling his heart, an itch that lingers long after. It was well past midnight and John was snoring beside me. I tossed and turned, unable to sleep, my mind fixated on that breathtaking ocean I'd seen on my phone. Carefully, I retrieved the device from beneath my pillow, hoping to revisit that mesmerizing scene, but no matter how I swiped left or right, it was nowhere to be found. Suddenly, before I knew it, John, who had somehow awakened, grabbed my phone. "John, you startled me," I said, patting my chest. "Staying up in the middle of the night playing on that thing? You're ruining my sleep," he snapped. "There's nothing worth seeing on that junk. Forget about ever using it again." Surrounded by anger, John flung my phone off the bed. The colossal crash as it hit the floor echoed like the sound of my heart shattering. Staring at the shattered phone on the floor, a long-dormant anger suddenly welled up inside me. I had only wanted to revisit those videos of far-off places I dreamed of. What's wrong with that? Meanwhile, John kept on rambling. "If you keep clinging to that phone day and night, you're going to pack up and get out of here," he barked. In the dead of night, with all our neighbors surely fast asleep, I wasn't in the mood for another fight. Silently, I grabbed my blanket and prepared to spend the night on the living room sofa. Behind me, I could still hear John's mocking laugh. "If you've got the guts, then don't sleep in my house." I let it pass. I spent the entire night tossing and turning on that uncomfortable sofa, but by morning I had come to one clear realization. I never wanted to see John's hateful face again. At daybreak, I casually stuffed a few changes of clothes into my suitcase, grabbed the car keys I'd sneaked away and unlocked the car door. I remembered well that I'd earned my driver's license back when Lucy and I took the test together after her high school graduation, something I'd only managed because Lucy had sweetly pleaded with John, "Grandpa, please let Grandma take the test with me." That's how John finally agreed. Yet now, whenever we went out, he still refused to let me drive, grumbling that I'd be a road hazard. Recollecting those earlier days, I carefully started the engine and eased onto the road. Before long, I arrived safely at my son Jose's house. It seemed John had only been trying to scare me. Driving wasn't nearly as difficult as he'd claimed. Jose and Emma hadn't even left for work yet. When I opened the door, they both looked at me in surprise. "Mom, what are you doing here?" Jose blurted out. Emma shot him a quick look and then hastily took the luggage from my hand. "Mary, come on in. Have you had breakfast yet?" Jose, now flustered, ushered me inside. "Mom, you never mentioned you'd be coming over at this hour. What's going on?" I sipped my hot coffee, feeling my very insides reawaken. "I missed Lucy, so I thought I'd come see you all," I explained, covered the truth in a harmless lie, then glanced towards the living room. "Where's Lucy?" "Lucy? You didn't know her well?" "She's sleeping in, being her usual lazy self," Emma replied fondly. "Oh right, of course I knew. I'd been the one caring for her since she was little." "Go on with your day," I told them. Emma hesitated, then added, "Mary, if you're hungry, have Lucy order you some takeout. Don't worry about cooking. Jose and I have to get to work now." It was only 8 in the morning and that little lazy-head Lucy was probably still asleep until after 10. Once Emma and Jose had left, I, ever used to a busy day, felt the urge to keep myself occupied. I rolled up my sleeves and began tidying the house. Although it wasn't messy per se, a little clutter always gathered when they were away. Before long, Lucy burst into the room. "Grandma, what are you doing here?" she exclaimed, wrapping me in a big hug. "I was just about to come see you. I've missed you so much." I patted her hand gently. "Grandma misses you too." "I'm right here," she teased. Grandpa's probably off mooching another meal again." John had always been the kind of man who dodged any household chore. Even if the trash could be seen from a mile away, he'd just walk on by, let alone cook for himself. "Let him mooch, it's none of my business," I replied. "Lucy wouldn't let me stay indoors." "Grandma, I'm taking you out to try something you've never had before." Before I could protest, she hopped into the car and whisked me off to the mall. "Grandma, what flavor would you like?" she asked, pointing to a vibrant beverage menu that dazzled my eyes. "I'll have whatever you get," I said with a laugh. Lucy ordered a cold drink for herself and a hot one for me. When I sipped mine through a straw, the sweetness was entirely new, a flavor I'd never experienced before. "Grandma, isn't it delicious?" she asked hopefully. I smiled and nodded. Neither John nor my own children had ever treated me to such little modern indulgences. They always assumed that, at my age, I didn't need to try anything new. "Now that I'm grown up," Lucy declared proudly, "I promise I'll take you out to eat the best food all the time." For a moment, her words left me feeling dazed, reminding me of similar promises Jose had made when he was little. "Mom, when I grow up, I'll buy you all the wonderful things you deserve." But the kids had grown busy with their own lives, focused on their little families, and I couldn't fault them. Their happiness was enough for me. Lucy, on the other hand, had always kept me in her thoughts, never letting a day go by without a kind gesture. Suddenly, the phone rang, interrupting my reverie. It was John calling Lucy. "Grandma, it's Grandpa," came the voice on the line. Without thinking, I muttered, "I'm not answering." That's when Lucy realized something was wrong. While we munched on Turkish wraps, I recounted, haltingly, the events of last night. "They really mistreated me. They even smashed my phone. Grandma, don't go back home, just stay here with me." Lucy's face burned with indignation as she squeezed my hand in solidarity. I felt a surge of warmth watching her, though a flicker of worry soon followed. Would Jose and Emma let me stay here for good? The moment I opened the door, I found Jose and Emma already home from work. "Mom, I heard from Dad, he really went too far this time. You shouldn't go back, just stay here for a while," Jose said in a low, steady tone. I glanced over at Emma, who wore not even a trace of reluctance. At last, I felt a measure of relief. "Grandma, just stay here. I'm on leave right now, so I can be with you every day," Emma said with a warm smile before teasing. "You're such a kid, always talking like that. How could I possibly spend every day with you?" Though unease still fluttered in my chest, her good humor soon put my worries at ease. "Dad, you need to buy Grandma a new phone, a smart one," Lucy piped in, seizing the moment. Naturally, Jose couldn't help but smile as he agreed. But as soon as the new phone arrived, John began bombarding me with calls. After an endless barrage, Lucy ended up blocking his number on my behalf. "Now Grandpa can't get through," she declared. I had been staying here for a week now, and miraculously that nagging chest pain had eased considerably. But sooner or later that very day, just as I was about to head out to take out the trash, I caught snippets of a hushed argument by the door. "I'm so fed up with cooking for your dad, John," came Emma's low voice. Jose quickly whispered, "Keep it down, don't let Mom hear. Can't you see I got stuck with extra work tonight?" "I'm really counting on you," another voice added. "Do you have any idea how impossible your dad is to please? I can't take it anymore. Why don't we just let Mary go back?" After a moment's silence, Jose suggested in a conciliatory tone, "Let Mom stay for just 2 more days and then I'll drive her home." I pretended not to hear and stepped out, asking, "You two are home already, why aren't you coming in? What's all this about?" They exchanged awkward smiles, their discomfort hanging in the air. At dinner, I murmured to myself, "I wonder how your dad's doing." No sooner had the words left my mouth than Jose interjected, "Dad hasn't been doing too well these days." Lucy snorted, "Without Grandma taking care of him, of course he's in rough shape. Honestly, Grandma spoiled him so much. This is the perfect chance for him to learn how to cook for himself." Emma shot Lucy a sharp look. "Mind your own business, Lucy. Some things are none of your concern. Your mouth never shuts, even at the table." Lucy bristled, and as I sensed Emma might continue scolding the kids, I quickly said, "All right, let's not talk about the children at the table." After dinner, while I was tidying up in my room, I heard raised voices coming from the living area. "I'm telling you, Grandma wants to leave because you two are driving her away," Lucy accused loudly. My heart skipped a beat and I hurried out to see Lucy, red-faced and furious, arguing with her parents. Across the room, both Jose and Emma were visibly steamed. "What about Grandpa? Without him, Grandma can stay as long as she wants." Jose's voice rose. "Let Grandpa learn to cook for himself, he's an adult." Emma couldn't hold back any longer. She raised her hand as if to strike Lucy. "What are you doing? Don't get angry with Lucy," I'm leaving tomorrow, she snapped. I scooped Lucy into my arms. Her face was flushed with worry, tears glistening in her eyes, and my heart ached for her. I know it's hard and Lucy isn't at fault, she was just speaking up for me. I'll leave tomorrow so you won't have to feel trapped, I assured them. Jose hesitated, then with his head bowed in resignation murmured, Mom, you can come back in a while. I said nothing, only nodding in acceptance. Grandma, just wait, I'll find us a place to stay for a bit, just the two of us, Lucy promised as she embraced me. Oh sweetie, that's an adult matter, I replied softly. Yes, as much as I despise John, I simply cannot bear the thought of returning to that cold, unfeeling home, and I couldn't put Jose in an awkward position either. Spending this time away, I hoped I'd clear my head enough that maybe John's attitude might soften. If he were even willing to apologize, perhaps I could soldier on for the sake of the kids. I didn't let Jose drive me home. I drove here on my own and I'd drive back just the same. In the end, Jose and Emma practically shoved $1,000 into my hand. Mom, buy yourself something goof to eat. Don't let yourself worry so much about Dad, Jose mumbled, standing there awkwardly, unable to meet my eyes. I couldn't help but notice, to my dismay, that gray hairs were starting to show on his head. With a dismissive wave, I said my goodbyes. On the drive home, I gazed out at the relentless flow of traffic. A wild thought flashed through my mind. Wouldn't it be marvelous if time could just freeze right here in this very moment? But as always, the view outside my window soon brought me back to reality. My house loomed into sight. After parking, I lingered on the front step, hesitating to open the door. With John's notorious temper, I dreaded that the moment I stepped inside, I'd be met with a barrage of shouting. My chest tightened with foreboding. Finally, after a long pause, I pushed the door open. Inside, the house was a chaotic mess, clothes scattered about and garbage left in every corner. I pinched my nose and hurried to the windows to let in some fresh air. Dust coated the floor, and the dining table along with the sink was piled high with used dishes. Sighing deeply, I resigned myself to tidying up. Not long after, I heard the sounds of someone getting out of bed. John emerged and gave me a cold snort. He said nothing more, and I felt a flicker of relief. At least he wasn't yelling right away. After all, I had made his favorite breakfast as soon as I got back. John, breakfast's ready, I called. He ambled over, humming a little tune, and as he sat down he said, You're coming back to serve me like a slave. You've got nowhere else to go. He said that with a smug grin. I stared at him incredulously. John, what did you just say? I said you don't really have anywhere else to be. At your age, running away only to scurry back here in defeat proves it. He sneered. All your life you've been stuck by the stove, your mind as dull as ever, completely clueless. You really think our children can be relied on? Count on me, because I'm the only one who hasn't given up on you after all these years. I watched his lips twist into that familiar sneer. All these years I'd been running myself ragged, both inside and out, sacrificing everything for this family, only to be met with such degrading words from my own husband. In that moment, the only thought that pierced my mind was that this damned old man should shut his mouth for good. Without a second thought, I grabbed the glass of orange juice from the table and hurled it straight onto his face. You've lost it. What do you think an old woman like me is doing? John shrieked, flailing his hand as if to grab me. I twisted away, evading his grasp. Then, in a fit of defiance, I stuffed an egg into his mouth and hissed, Shut up, John. Before he could recover, I delivered a few harsh blows to his back. You ungrateful fool. I've toiled for years and never once heard a word of praise from you, yet here you are, always spewing insults. I just can't go on, I've had enough. I declared, my voice trembling with both anger and resolve. I want a divorce. The moment the words left my mouth, I was stunned, even I couldn't believe it. In today's world, with divorce as common as it is, if I can't stand living with the man in front of me any longer, why shouldn't I get a divorce? Before I could even gather my thoughts, John seized the opportunity and shoved me forcefully to the ground. Divorce? Who'd want you if you left me? He spat. You've got no sense of your own worth. A useless old woman with no talents, thinking you can just walk away. I hesitated for only a heartbeat before his ceaseless mockery steeled my resolve. I'm getting a divorce. Who cares if no one else wants me? I can live perfectly well on my own. John's eyes flared with fury, his face turning a deep red as he continued his barrage of insults. I'm telling you, If you leave now and then expect to come crawling back, you'll have to grovel and beg for forgiveness. Only then might I even consider taking you back, you worthless woman. Not one to back down, I shot back. Huh. Without me you wouldn't even be able to eat properly. I cook for you without charging a dime, without asking for anything in return. And if I went out cooking for someone else, I'd even earn a maid's fee. Thankfully, the clothes I'd packed were still in my suitcase, untouched. I grabbed the bag and turned to leave, determined to walk out on my own terms. But the moment I stepped outside, I froze. Jose's place was no longer an option. With a heavy sigh, I decided to check into a modest motel for a while. I booked a 3-day room and settled in comfortably, finally enjoying a few hours of peace. Before long, Jose called. I glanced at his name and without a word, hung up. Later, when Emma and the others called, I did the same. Then little Lucy's name flashed on the screen and I answered. "Hey Grandma, where are you?" "Don't worry, I won't tell anyone," came Lucy's hushed, almost conspiratorial voice through the receiver. I couldn't help but smile. Nothing warmed my heart like my dear granddaughter. "I'm staying at a motel. It's actually quite nice," I replied. "That's good, Grandma. Stay out there for a couple of days. I'll get my place sorted in the next couple of days, and then I'll take you over to live with me," she promised warmly. The motel wasn't exactly luxurious, but I felt wonderfully at ease. After all these years, it was the first time I truly had a slice of time and space all to myself. No more listening to John's incessant snoring. In the morning, I woke up on my own terms. If I felt like eating, I did. If not, I simply skipped a meal. At noon, I'd wander into any cozy diner and enjoy a meal without having to lift a finger. Jose stopped calling altogether and switched to sending me texts instead. "Mom, come home when you've had enough of this soul-searching," one message read. I sighed as I looked at the screen. Living on my own meant facing the reality of living expenses, and it became clear that I needed to find a job of my own. Just as I was pondering what kind of work I might do, Lucy called. "Grandma, where are you?" "I'm coming to pick you up and take you to our place," she said. I was pleasantly surprised. Had Lucy really managed to rent an apartment? I met up with her, and soon she was driving me to her modest 2-bedroom apartment. It wasn't spacious, but to me it felt incredibly warm and inviting. Hugging me tightly, Lucy promised, "Grandma, once I've been at work, we'll move into a bigger place, just the two of us." Overwhelmed, I clutched her close, tears of joy welling in my eyes. Yet the nagging worry about not having a job still troubled me. I confided, "I want to find work, earn a little money so I'm not a burden on you." Lucy replied without missing a beat, "Grandma, when I start working, you can take it easy at home. Just help me with the cooking when you're free. Trust me, it won't be any trouble. We'll have each other's company." I couldn't argue with her logic. Smiling, I nodded and helped her tidy up the new place. "Am I really going to divorce your grandpa? Aren't you going to try to talk me out of it?" I asked, feeling a tremor of anxiety, especially since no one in the family seemed to support my decision. Without a hint of hesitation, Lucy said, "Grandma, you've spent your whole life toiling for the family. If you want a divorce, you must have your reasons, and no matter what, I support you." At that moment, my heart finally felt at ease. I confided softly, "If your grandpa had taken me to see the ocean, none of this would have happened." Setting down the cloth she'd been wiping with, Lucy's eyes sparkled as she proposed, "Grandma, since I've got some free time now, let's go see the ocean together." A little timid, I asked, "Shall we take the train?" "No," she laughed, "we're going on a road trip. We both know how to drive, don't we?" Seeing my hesitation melt away under her decisive cheer, she added, "Grandma, do whatever you want. I'm right here with you." In that moment, images of the endless, serene ocean I'd once seen on my phone mingled with the memory of John's scornful sneer. A surge of courage welled up inside me. After all, why should I let John dictate where I go? Lucy and I could make our own way, just the two of us. After tidying the apartment, we also took stock of the few things still missing for our road trip. Just as we were about to head out shopping, I opened the door and found Jose standing there. "Dad, how did you know that Grandma and I are staying here?" Lucy blurted out in surprise. Jose didn't even answer her. Instead, he turned to me and said, "Mom, Dad really needs someone to take care of him." I kept silent. John, ever the spoiled, overgrown child, had always had everyone wrapped around his finger. "You've been out for days now. You need to go back," he insisted. Fixing Jose with a steady gaze, I declared, "Jose, I'm getting a divorce. This isn't a tantrum, a threat, or even a negotiation. It's my notice to him. I've had enough of your father." I let it all spill out. "Ever since I married your dad, I've been running around taking care of him, Grandma, and you. But he's never once understood me. He says I'm nothing more than his servant, that if I ever left him, I'd be utterly useless." Jose listened in silence. I'd expected him to be sympathetic, to have some comforting words ready, but then he finally said, "Isn't that how it is in every family? Mom, can't you just stop making a scene? Besides, you've managed just fine all these years. What's stopping you now? It's only a little trip to see the ocean, right? I'll take you there right now. Once you've seen it, just come back home. Don't go causing more trouble." I stared at him in disbelief, my lips trembling with anger. Clutching my chest, my hands shook as I pointed at him, so furious I could barely speak. Lucy helped me settle onto the sofa. "Dad, how can you talk about your own mother like that?" she accused loudly. Jose's face burned with anger as he snapped, "I'm your father, watch your mouth. You're showing no respect for your own mother. That's like a crooked beam supporting another crooked beam," Lucy retorted, her words making Jose stomp his foot in outrage. I sat there for a moment, oddly satisfied by the scene unfolding before me. It seems parents are always helpless when it comes to their own children. Then Jose turned to me, trying to tug at my heartstrings. "Look, being with you isn't even good for your granddaughter. She's about to graduate and start looking for a proper job." His words struck a chord. I had always worried that I was holding Lucy back. Noticing a flicker of softness in my expression, Jose continued, "I've already given your father a piece of my mind. Once your trip is over, you should come back home. Grandma, don't listen to him. You're not a burden at all." "I'm starting work soon and can support you," Lucy interjected. I managed a bitter smile. "Babe, I can't let you support me," I replied softly. Jose rose to his feet. "Mom, once you've seen the ocean, come home," he said, and then he left. Just like that, the good mood I'd been feeling about our trip vanished. "Grandma, forget all that for now. Let's go see the ocean. We can talk about everything else when we get back." After gathering our things and checking off the last items for our road trip, we took a day to rest before setting off. Before we left, Lucy installed a mount in the car. "What's this?" asked curious. Lucy adjusted it with a grin. "This is a camera I bought just for vlogging." "Vlog?" I echoed. Lucy burst into laughter, nearly doubling over. "It means recording your life on video, Grandma." "Well, why didn't you tell me earlier?" "I'd better change into something nicer," I quipped. In all my years, the only time I ever made a serious video was back when Jose and the others got married. Since then, I'd hardly taken any proper photos or videos. One must always look their best on camera. "Grandma, you look beautiful right now," Lucy said sweetly. Even though I knew she was mostly trying to cheer me up, her words warmed my heart and I laughed. "I'm too old to be beautiful now." At home, John always complained that I didn't take care of myself. And when I finally managed to put on some makeup, he'd sneer that it was a disaster, that I looked far less stylish than any other older woman out there. "Even an old beauty is still a beauty," Lucy chimed in with a playful smile. "Dad says I look just like you, beautiful, stunning." For the rest of our drive, Lucy and I took turns behind the wheel. Although it was a bit tiring, it turned out to be far more relaxing than I had imagined. Every so often, Lucy would sneak some snacks into my mouth. "Grandma, I never knew you loved snacks too," she exclaimed as if she'd discovered a hidden treasure. "Well," I replied with a shrug, "back in the day things were tight. We always had to let Grandpa and your dad eat first, and we only bought what your grandpa liked." Lucy tilted her little head, pondering. "Yeah, I always hear what Grandpa likes, but I never hear anyone talk about what you enjoy." A bittersweet ache filled me. When Jose was little, I used to remind him, "Your dad works so hard to support this family. Never forget how much he sacrifices." And though Jose had listened back then, now it seemed he no longer saw or appreciated all the hard work I'd put in as a mother. Before I knew it, we were drawing ever closer to the coastline. That afternoon, while I was half asleep in the car, I heard Lucy's soft call. "Grandma, we've arrived. Let's get out." She quickly helped me don a jacket, her hand steady on mine while the other clutched her vlogging camera. Even before we reached the beach, I could feel the ocean's humid breath. In that moment, the weight in my chest lifted. The sand was soft beneath my feet as I stood on the shore, gazing out at the churning sea. It's just like the videos. Really beautiful, I murmured, struggling to find words grand enough for the scene, settling for the sparse praise of beautiful. Lucy kicked off her shoes. Grandma, try it, she urged. The cool sand slipped teasingly between my toes and I couldn't help but smile. With a burst of determination, Lucy shouted toward the endless horizon, I'm going to take you out again, Grandma, to even more breathtaking places. Inspired by her enthusiasm, I too raised my voice to the vast ocean. I'm ready to live my life to the fullest. The rhythmic crash of the waves against the rocks seemed to echo my cry, as if nature itself was cheering me on. All the heaviness inside me seemed to dissolve, replaced by a light, joyful spirit. Lucy and I shared a look of unspoken understanding and delight. On the drive back, Lucy busied herself with the camera. Grandma, once I edit this vlog, I'll show it to you. You are going to love it, she promised brightly. It wasn't long before Lucy had finished editing the video of our outing. Watching myself beam so brightly on screen left me a little disoriented. I couldn't even recall the last time I'd felt so relaxed and truly happy. You edited it so beautifully. Can you help to save it to my phone? I'd love to watch it from time to time, I said. Sure thing. I'll sort that out later. For now, I'm going to post it online so more people can see just how much fun we had, Lucy replied. Post it online? That was all new to me, but I trusted Lucy's judgment. Then go ahead and post it, I agreed. Later that evening, Jose called again. His words, always circling around doing what was best for Lucy, urged me to come home. After a long, heavy pause, I finally answered, Jose, I'll find work on my own. I won't be a burden to Lucy. Please, stop trying to talk me out of this. And with that, I hung up, feeling an enormous sense of relief. Originally, I had planned to return home after one last glimpse of the ocean. But this journey taught me that if you truly desire something, you must summon the courage to chase it. As long as you remain steadfast in your beliefs, you can achieve anything. For far too many years, I had confined myself to the roles of wife and mother, losing sight of who I truly was. Trapped for decades in endless household chores, cooking, cleaning, and the like, it seemed that my only talent was managing the domestic sphere. Yet even so, I believe that with my own two hands, I can not only survive but thrive even more than before. That night, I tiptoed over to Lucy's room and found her already asleep. Gently, I tucked the covers around her, careful not to disturb her. Returning to my own room afterward, I realized that I'd never slept so soundly in my life. The next morning, I was roused from sleep by Lucy's piercing scream, so sudden it snapped me fully awake. What's going on? What's wrong? I hurried into the living room, where Lucy was cradling her laptop and flailing about with exhilaration. Grandma, are we going to be on fire now? She cried. Fire? What do you mean, what's on fire? I asked, baffled. Oh no, not literally, our video is blowing up. Thousands of people are watching our travel video online, giving likes, leaving comments, and even following our channel. We're about to become famous. Lucy patiently explained the whole thing to me, though her words seemed to float over my head. Yet I grasped one thing clearly. Sharing our travel adventures on video could actually earn money. This can't be a scam, can it? I asked, worry tinting my voice. In this day and age, could it really be that easy to make money? John used to always remind me all the time that earning a living wasn't easy and that I needed to learn to be frugal. Because of that, every dollar in our home went to John, Jose, and even my old mother-in-law. We couldn't even afford to hire a maid. I rarely bought new clothes and I hadn't used makeup in years. So John always complained I was nothing more than an old lady, can't be even compared to any other woman else at my same age. No, Grandma, it's not a scam, Lucy insisted firmly. You see those bloggers on your phone? That's exactly how they make a living. Noticing the puzzled look in my eyes, she continued. When video creators gather enough followers, the platform rewards them with money. That's how they earn their keep. I quickly asked, so how many followers do we have now? Lucy glanced at her phone and beamed, over 10,000 already. Really? That many? I marveled. Absolutely. With enough views you start making money, and later on we can even land sponsorships. Lucy, a media major by training, spoke with a passion and confidence that was impossible to ignore. After a thoughtful pause, she added, Grandma, let's start our own little business. Her suggestion startled me for a moment, but then a surge of courage bubbled up inside me. After all, I had nothing left to lose. If this video venture didn't pan out, I could always find work in a restaurant, cooking or washing dishes. Once I made up my mind, Lucy set up a makeshift studio at home and helped me record our second video. The title flashed boldly on the screen. My grandma is 60 and asking for a divorce. Facing the camera, I felt a familiar tremor of nervousness. Don't worry, Grandma, Lucy coached gently from behind the lens. Just speak your truth. Tell them exactly what you felt. There's nothing to be afraid of. I drew a deep breath and let my memories wash over me. The endless days of caring for my mother-in-law, the constant belittling from John, and the look of exasperation on Jose's face when he urged me to go back and keep enduring it all. As I began to speak, my voice faltered and choked with emotion. But then I met Lucy's encouraging gaze through the camera, and something within me steadied. I wiped away my tears and with a voice that rang clear and resolute declared, "From this moment on, I have made my decision. I'm leaving John and embracing the life I truly want to live." John stormed over to where I was living, clutching the divorce papers I'd sent him. Hot anger radiated from him and trailing right behind was Jose. The moment he stepped into the room, his words burst out like a machine gun. "Mary, you're out of your mind. I think you're trying to start a rebellion." I met John's furious glare with calm indifference, waiting patiently for him to finish his tirade. When he finally paused, I said evenly, "John, just sign the papers." He snarled, "Mary, you've lost your senses. Without me, you won't even have anything to eat." His baseless accusation made me chuckle inwardly. "John Howard, you've got it all wrong," I replied coolly. "If you lose me, you're the one who'll starve. I can make my own way. Even if that means washing dishes at a restaurant, I'd still earn my keep. And what about you? Besides exploiting and dismissing everything I do, what can you actually do?" I must admit, those words were Lucy's handiwork. She'd coached me and I could see her giving me a discreet thumbs up from behind. John's face flushed a deep red. "Fine, you've really grown some wings now. All right, I'll tell you. I'm the one who doesn't want you. I'm the one who filed for divorce. I'll sign these papers right now." "Dad, don't be impulsive," Jose protested, grabbing John's arm to stop him from signing. But John's fury was unyielding. No one could hold him back. "I get a monthly retirement check of about $4,000, John fumed, "and I can easily find another old lady to take care of me." After scribbling his signature, he flung the papers to the floor. "Mary Tyler, even if you come crawling back in tears, I'm never taking you back." With that, he spun on his heel and stormed out. Jose hesitated, torn between chasing after him and looking at me, caught in indecision. Finally, he slumped onto the sofa and muttered bitterly, "Mom, it's all your fault." I felt nothing but a lightness in my heart as I neatly collected the divorce papers. It was as if I'd been locked up for 40 years and was finally set free. "Fault? What's my fault?" I asked. "Your constant tantrums, your unreasonable behavior." Jose replied, exasperatedly rubbing his head. Lucy stepped in. "Dad, aren't you just worried that Grandpa won't have anyone to care for him, so you're clinging on? His retirement check is decent enough. He could just hire a caregiver." Jose perked up at that suggestion. "Oh yeah, that might work," he said. I drawled slowly, "Don't be silly, $4,000 a month isn't nearly enough." Jose's eyes widened. $4,000 a month isn't enough? If it were truly $4,000 a month it might be, but John always had to funnel a chunk of it, about $2,000, to support his siblings. Ever since we got married, he'd rather lend money to his extended family than spend it at home. I still remember him saying, "My brother and I are family, what's the harm in lending a little? And, I can't stand watching my sister suffer. You've got a heart as cold as ice." At first I argued, but over the years I learned to live with it. Your father's paycheck is about $4,000 a month, but nearly half goes to your aunts and uncles, leaving just enough for daily expenses. This revelation left Jose not only surprised but angry. "What do they need money for?" he fumed. Lucy then remarked with a knowing smile, "No wonder, Grandma. You've always been so stingy with your spending." I sighed. "Your father always said he was family with his siblings and needed to help them out." Jose muttered in disgust, "Giving away his own money to outsiders. No wonder he's always causing trouble." I couldn't help but laugh softly. In Jose's eyes, the one stirring up problems now wasn't me, it was John. Lucy seized the moment. Look, the video Lucy and I made is going viral. Our little venture is taking off. You don't need to worry about grandma's living expenses anymore. In fact, who knows? You might even end up as a rich kid someday. Jose shook his head with a wry smile. As long as you and grandma are happy together, that's all that matters. Lucy was constantly checking our account and the stats on our new videos. Grandma, our follower count has broken 100,000, and our views have topped over 1 million, she exclaimed. I quickly grabbed my reading glasses and scrolled through the comments. The top liked comment read, "So inspiring. If you have a dream, just go for it. It's never too late. We all need to have Grandma Mary's courage." I couldn't help but smile. It was amazing to see so many people online supporting me. But as I kept scrolling, I also came across a few mean-spirited remarks. One read, "At 60 and still whining about divorce. Such disrespect for your age." I frowned. "Lucy, what should I say to that?" I asked. Lucy tapped the screen to reveal the thread of replies. "Don't worry, Grandma. You see, a lot of people are jumping in to refute that comment," she said reassuringly. It was clear that the voices in support far outweighed the critics. I smiled softly, feeling a warm surge of comfort in my heart. Lucy and I's videos quickly went viral, sparking discussions on numerous platforms. Before long, we received our very first advertisement offer. On the eve of the shoot, I was jittery. "Lucy, what if I can't do well?" I asked nervously. "You're my greatest, most amazing Grandma Mary. There's no way you can mess this up," she replied, then added cheerfully, "This pan ad is a breeze. Your well-trained culinary skills are so exquisite, it'll be a slam dunk." Her words helped me steady my nerves, and following the crew's instructions, I completed the shoot with ease. It was the first ad of my life, the first big check I earned since leaving John. On the drive home, while Lucy and I were chatting about what to have for dinner, Lucy glanced at her phone and her expression suddenly changed. "Grandma, we have to go to the hospital. Grandpa's been admitted," she exclaimed. Even though we were divorced, John wasn't exactly my enemy. The two of us rushed to the hospital in a panic. "How could he just faint like that?" I asked, concern lacing my tone. Lucy's voice turned serious. "Dad didn't say much. Let's see when we get there." By the time we arrived, John had already fallen asleep. "Mom, it's nothing serious, he just fainted from his raging anger," Jose said resignedly. I pressed further. What was he so mad about? Seeing that John was stable, I felt a measure of relief. After all, it wasn't Jose or Emma who would suffer the most. After a hesitant pause, Jose finally spoke. "Dad contacted his siblings earlier today and said he's done giving money to them, but then they refused to accept that and ended up in arms because of it." I sneered. "What ungrateful ingrates." Then, puzzled, I added, "Back when times were tough, your dad never hesitated to help out. Why is he holding back now?" Jose's face turned conflicted. Emma quickly jumped in. "He's fallen for that neighbor lady, the one who lives in the same neighborhood and spends every day primping herself. But she barely even acknowledges him. So that lady came up with an excuse claiming that his monthly retirement check is barely lower than even $4,000, and that since he's dreaming of dating and remarrying, John finally decided to stop bailing out his siblings." I was left speechless. "John sure knows how to make a fuss," I muttered. Lucy didn't mince her words. "Grandpa, you've really lost all decorum. After all these years of treating Grandma so poorly, and now for some self-absorbed neighbor, this is just too much." Emma didn't stop Lucy from there, her face full of agreement. Then a rustling sound by the bedside caught our attention. John had opened his eyes. "Mary, so you want to come back now? Beg me and I'll take you back," John slurred, clearly out of his mind. "Dad, you're out of your mind. Mom is just here to check on you," Jose snapped, his face clouded with displeasure. He then began complaining, "You've been giving money to those aunts and uncles for years. It's normal if you stop now, but to still argue with them? From now on, let's cut ties with all those relatives." He continued, "And that old lady from next door has already moved up. Give it up already." Unable to save face, John roared, "Shut up. My money is mine to give to whoever I want." Jose's voice tightened. "No wonder Mom divorced you. You brought this on yourself." I couldn't help but feel a mix of vindication and irony. I had suffered for years, and now John was the one reaping the bitter consequences. Since when did Jose stop urging me to come back? I realized it was the first time when he saw there were real money coming in from the online account Lucy and I had. But life, I mused, isn't meant to be calculated so precisely. John, I'm leaving. Take care of yourself, I said without any specific emotion. John turned his head and in a muffled tone pleaded, "Old woman, come back. I'll stop giving money to everyone else and treat you right." I waved him off, took Lucy's hand and walked out of the hospital room. Behind me, John's muffled sobs echoed, but I refused to look back. I was moving forward, continuously away from him already. Our account really took off rapidly and we even ventured into livestream selling. Lucy looked at me with concern. "Grandma, if you ever feel tired, just tell me. We don't have to do live streaming forever." I set aside the notebook filled with my scribbled notes and replied earnestly, "I'm not tired. This is so exciting. Yes, life now is so much more interesting than before. I've had enough of those endless, monotonous days, cooking and cleaning day after day. Now I travel, shoot videos, occasionally host live streams to sell products, and share my ever more vibrant, free life with my online community. I can't even begin to express how fulfilling and joyful it feels." A year later, by the end of that year, our account had amassed 1 million followers. We even earned the title of Best Vlogger on the platform and were invited to attend the Creators Conference. At the awards ceremony, Lucy insisted that I go on stage to receive the award. I couldn't argue with her. Gathering up my bashful courage, I donned the long, beautiful dress Lucy had chosen for me and slowly made my way up to the stage. Standing on the stage, I felt a rush of emotions as I gripped the award. Taking a deep breath, I began, "Thank you so much for this incredible honor. I never imagined that the days I spent cooking and cleaning would lead me here, to a place where I can share my story, inspire others, and truly live my life on my own terms. This award is not just a celebration of my journey, but a testament to all of us who dare to break free from the ordinary." With over 1 million followers, our community has shown that it's never too late to pursue your dreams. I owe so much to my dear Lucy, who believed in me when I doubted myself, and to every person who has cheered us on along the way. Looking ahead, I promise to keep exploring, sharing, and growing. I want to continue showing that life can be vibrant and full of possibility, no matter your age. Thank you for believing in me, and here's to a future where we all embrace change and live boldly. With that, I stepped off the stage accompanied with thunderous applause, my heart full of hope and a newfound sense of freedom for the journey ahead. I truly believe the future of mine will only get better and better.